News 46 is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community. News is also brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrump's optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, a child is ejected from a car as it rolls over. A home is completely destroyed by fire, and the robbery of a disabled veteran sparks outrage. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, April 6th, 2015. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. Police are investigating a rollover accident that injured a mother and son Saturday morning. A heartbreaking single-vehicle rollover occurred on Saturday morning on Dandelion Street. According to police, the accident occurred when a mom was driving her son to Little League practice. The son apparently unbuckled his seatbelt to put on his baseball cleats. For some reason, the mother was distracted temporarily, and the vehicle left the roadway. The driver overcorrected, which caused the vehicle to go end over end. The male juvenile was ejected from the vehicle and was airlifted to UMC Trauma Center in Las Vegas in critical condition. The female was transported to Desert View Hospital. Nye County Sheriff's deputies and Nevada Highway Patrol blocked traffic in all directions while the investigation was being conducted. The condition of the juvenile is unknown at this time. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. And our hearts and prayers are with that family. A fully engulfed structure fire was seen from miles around early this morning on the south end of town. The investigation as to the cause is still underway.
Around 5:20 this morning, Station 1 was dispatched for the report of some type of fire. It was unknown exactly what was burning, and it wasn't an exact address provided. It was in the area of South Highway 160, and several minutes had gone by. Then they started getting additional reports that from other reporting parties indicating that they believed it was a structure fire. It was then verified, in fact, we did have a working structure fire. Deputies arrived on location, found a fully involved structure. It's a one-story single-family dwelling. There was immediate exposures. Our crews, upon arrival, started an interior attack, but were pushed back due to collapsing conditions of the structure. Went to a defensive exterior, utilized our aerial device, determined that the occupants were safely out of the house. There were no injuries to any of the firefighters or the occupants. And now we're going into the investigative phase.
So the occupants were already outside the house, but passerbys were reporting it?
Yeah, it's possible that they didn't have their cell phones or any other way to communicate the nature of the incident. But passerbys on Highway 160, I would take it probably going to work in Vegas, reported seeing a fire. But again, they didn't know exactly where it was and didn't know exactly what was burning.
A lot of apparatus on scene right now. Tell me about that. We even have hazmat involved.
Yeah, once we determined that, in fact, that it was a structure fire, we upgraded the assignment, made it a full structure assignment, and 51 came in to assist us with refilling our air bottles. We depleted all of our air on scene, and so we're grateful for their assistance.
So this structure and a vehicle, it looks like, is pretty much a loss.
There was a heavy fire conditions on that structure upon arrival, and that van was already involved as well. It was an immediate exposure. As you can see, we did protect a very large accessory building. It had a number of antiques in it, and that was protected by the firefighters early on.
And then another vehicle, it looks like, was protected.
Yes, and another vehicle at the front, parked in the driveway, was also protected by the firefighters upon arrival.
Any animals?
2 dogs lived in the house, and both escaped with the family.
Well, how low can you go? 2 male juveniles robbed a handicapped veteran in a wheelchair during the middle of the day on busy Basin Avenue. The pair are described as possibly Hispanic or black and around 16 years old. One is heavy set, the other one much smaller. They also had a BMX bike with them at the time of the robbery and frequent the area. Police searched for an extended period on Saturday afternoon with no luck near Basin and Lola Streets. for the two who they believe live in the neighborhood. They reportedly used a .22 caliber handgun to commit the crime while the man was opening his gate and knocked him out of his chair. If you have any information as to the location of these teenagers, please call the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 751-7000. News 46 will return in just a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Welcome back to News 46, and some sad news today as News 46 learned that musician Joe Willett has passed away over the weekend. He succumbed to cancer. Recently, there was a jam session fundraiser held at the Hub Bar on Bella Vista. The musician said that they wanted Joe to know how much he meant to them. And he was a well-accomplished musician and played in many bands throughout the years in our community. He leaves behind a wife and stepchild. KPVM-TV News 46 received an update from Nye County Animal Control regarding the closure of an animal sanctuary that occurred a couple weeks ago. According to the director, Vance Payne, the business All the Same Wild and Tame Animal Sanctuary has quickly come into full compliance with animal control requirements and have reopened for business. 22 dogs were found to be sick when a local resident complained that they adopted 2 sick animals from the facility. The family said that the dogs, whom were spayed and neutered at only 9 weeks old, had kennel cough, 4 types of parasites, including worms. The pair told News 46 that they attempted to contact the rescue with no response and have spent hundreds of dollars to save the animals. They also learned that the parasites were contagious to humans. All the Same Wild and Tame are facing charges related to the case. Here's a weekly update with R.J. Lloyd, Joe Hayden, and Darby O'Donnell with peak performance at Fitness 410.
I was really happy with how I measured out. I didn't lose weight this week, but when we measured, it showed. So I'm still really satisfied with that. I noticed this past week when I was eating, I wasn't writing it down right away. I would write it down later on and think about that. And
so were you paying attention to every calorie then?
I don't think I was paying as much attention as I was in the past. Because I was really busy this week, so I didn't write down right when I was eating it. And then I would kind of question about what I was eating later on, like, what did I eat today? And then I think I might have missed something.
That's right. We did our month-to-month measurements, and Darby was happy to say it has been going down in inches. She's lost a total of 11 pounds. Inches-wise, she's lost about a quarter inch in her neck. She's lost inches in her waist, hips, and thighs. I mean, those are her biggest areas she's had weight loss. Her calves grew a little bit, which is good. You know, she's putting on some muscle, putting on some getting some strength back in those arms, and she gained some muscle in her arms also. So, and her body fat percentage also went down a good 1.5%.
Because you did that too. Tell me what that little thing that you guys are holding there.
Well, we do our body fat percent also to tell you what our body fat, your fat to muscle ratio is in the body. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, we try to keep it like a 2% loss, 1% loss per month to keep it at a healthy range. And sure enough, she lost about 1.5%. So she's on a great track. You know, usually the charts say about a normal person should about 20%. If it's a female, about 20% body fat. She's very close to that right now. So
let's talk about the difference in the muscle because like you said, her thighs were a little bit bigger because she's been gaining muscle. But does that replace the fat, or what goes on there?
Well, a lot of people think, if you lose 5 pounds of muscle and gain 5 pounds of fat, you can lose 5 pounds. It's almost like what's heavier, 1 pound of feather, 1 pound of dirt. It's the same thing. Muscle is just more tighter. You fit more muscle into the body than you can fat. 5 pounds of fat, if you look at diagrams, is this big, overwhelming thing. 5 pounds of muscle is a lot more tighter, more dense. And that's what we're doing, putting more dense muscle into that, burning the looser fat out of it. And that's why she's looking a little more stronger, and that's why she's having a little more cuts and stuff in her legs.
And you know that this weekend was Easter. The Holiday Task Force held their annual Easter picnic at Ian Deutsch Memorial Park on Saturday. They changed things up this year after last year's try at attempting to hold the community Easter egg hunt differently than in years prior. This year went off without a hitch.
Last year, we did a traditional Easter egg hunt in the field A next to where we are right now, and this year it had more of a Halloween trick-or-treating feel, and I think it has worked out really well. I mean, the crowd has been steady, throughout the morning and early afternoon now, and I think it's worked out really well. And then it's also brought the young families to each of the exhibitors so they can learn what's going on in the community.
PDOP had a lot to do with this, right?
Yes, it was their idea to have the Easter egg scramble instead of the hunt this year, and it's less chaos. And I think they're all the families and the children are enjoying it much better.
And then you've got CCA over there cooking up
Free food. CCA is cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, and there's ice cream sandwiches, and Pete Up is, yeah, there's drinks, you know, kettle corn, cotton candy, everything is free today through the generous donations of businesses and organizations in the community.
Do you think you had as many people participating or more?
I don't know. I'm thinking that we're probably, you know, a little down from last year. I think that some families were a little concerned about last year. You know, like we talked about a few days ago, you know, there were some bad behaving parents last year. And I think that some families may have felt it might not be real safe. But I think this adjustment that we've made is definitely a move in the right direction.
Very much.
You know, no problems at all today. People are having a great time. And I think that we'll see a huge event next year.
Yes.
And how can people donate to the Holiday Task Force or get involved?
Involvement, I mean, this is the group, the Holiday Task Force is the group that plans the Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas meals every year. It's all through donations of time, volunteering to help plan, you know, writing checks or making cash donations, and then some people like to actually provide, you know, in-kind services, and that's what happened with some of the food today, is instead of writing a check, some businesses provided something. So the answer to the question is contact the coalition, and we accept all kinds of involvement.
When we return, we'll have more on what happened this Easter weekend.